My name is Jasmine Cooper. I am 29 years old and I work as an investigative journalist for a major news network. 3 days ago, my twin sister showed up at my apartment door looking like she had been hit by a truck. And when she told me who did it, I made a decision that changed both of our lives forever. I swapped places with her and I made her husband's life a living hell. Before I tell you this story, I need you to do something for me. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from. I want to know how far this message reaches. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel because stories like this need to be heard. Now let me tell you exactly what happened and why I regret nothing. It was a Tuesday night around 8 o'clock. I was home working on a story about corporate fraud when I heard someone banging on my door, not knocking, banging, like someone was desperate. I looked through the peephole and saw a woman standing there, but I almost did not recognize her. She was wearing sunglasses even though it was dark outside. She had a hoodie pulled up over her head. She was hunched over like she was in pain. I opened the door and said hello, and she looked up at me, and that is when I saw her face. My heart stopped. It was my twin sister, Jessica, but she did not look like Jessica. She looked like someone had beaten her within an inch of her life. Her left eye was swollen completely shut. The skin around it was purple and black and yellow. Her lip was split open and still bleeding a little. When she pulled down her hood, I saw her hair was matted with dried blood. And when she took off those sunglasses, I saw the full damage. Bruises everywhere, on her cheeks, on her forehead, on her temples. I pulled her inside my apartment and locked the door behind her. Then I just stood there staring at her, not knowing what to say. Jessica started crying. Not loud crying, quiet crying, the kind of crying someone does when they have cried so much they do not have any tears left. I walked up to her and hugged her carefully because I did not know where else she was hurt. And that is when I felt her whole body shaking. Who did this to you? I asked, but I already knew. There's only one person who gets that close, only one person who has that kind of access, her husband Derek. I have known Derek for 4 years. That is how long he's been married to my sister, and I swear I never saw this coming. He seemed normal. He seemed nice. He had a good job as a corporate manager. He treated Jessica well in the beginning, or at least that is what I thought, but clearly I was wrong. Clearly I missed something. Actually, I missed everything. Jessica pulled away from me and wiped her eyes. Please do not call the police, she said. Her voice was so quiet I barely heard her. Please, Jasmine, if you call the police, he will kill me. He said if I ever told anyone he would kill me, and I believe him. I know he will do it. I took her hand and led her to my couch. Sit down, I said. Then I went to my kitchen and got ice and a clean towel. I came back and handed them to her. Put this on your eye, I told her. Then I sat down next to her. You need to tell me everything from the beginning. How long has this been happening? She pressed the ice against her swollen eye and took a shaky breath. 2 years, she said. It started about 2 years ago. 2 years. My sister had been getting beaten by her husband for 2 years and I had no idea. How did I not know? How did I not see it? I am an investigative journalist. I find hidden truths for a living. I expose lies and uncover secrets. But I could not see what was happening to my own sister right in front of me. Let me back up and explain something about me and Jessica. We are not just twins. We are identical twins, same face, same height, same voice, same everything. Growing up, people could not tell us apart. Our own parents mixed us up sometimes. Teachers at school never knew which one of us they were talking to. We used to switch places all the time just for fun. In high school, I took a math test for Jessica because she was terrible at math. She went on a date for me once because I was too nervous to go myself. We could fool anyone, literally anyone. That is how identical we are, but after high school we went in different directions. I went to college for journalism. Jessica went to school to become an elementary teacher. I moved to the city and got a job at a news station. She stayed in our hometown and got a teaching job at the local elementary school. We stayed close for a few years, but then life got busy. I was working crazy hours chasing stories. She met Derek and got married. We went from talking every day to talking once a week, then once a month, then just holidays and birthdays. And during all that time, I missed the signs. I missed everything, because every time I saw Jessica, she seemed fine. She smiled, she laughed, she talked about her students and her life, but now a lie she was hiding. She was putting on a mask every time she was around me, just like Derek was putting on a mask, making everyone think he was this great husband when really he was a monster. Jessica told me everything that night. She told me how it started small, little things. Derek wanted to know where she was all the time, who she was talking to, what she was doing. He said it was because he loved her so much, because he worried about her, so she gave him her phone password. She told him her schedule. She checked in with him constantly. Then he started criticizing her. Her clothes were too tight. Her friends were bad influences. Her family did not respect him, so she started dressing differently. She stopped seeing her friends. She called me less and less. Then one night he hit her for the first time. She had forgot to pick up his dry cleaning, such a stupid small thing, but he came home and saw his shirts were not there and he just snapped. He grabbed her by the hair and slammed her head against the kitchen counter. She said she was in shock. She could not believe it happened. He apologized the next day. He cried. He brought her flour. He said it would never happen again, and like an idiot she believed him. Those are her words, not mine. But it did happen again and again and again. Every time he had a bad day at work, every time he lost money gambling, every time his football team lost, every time anything went wrong in his life he took it out on her. He would punch her, choke her, throw her against walls, kick her when she was on the ground. And his mother made everything worse. Linda moved in with them about a year ago, and instead of protecting Jessica, Linda blamed her for everything. She said Jessica was not a good enough wife, not a good enough cook, not a good enough housekeeper, and when Derek hit Jessica, Linda would just stand there watching. Sometimes she would even join in. She would slap Jessica across the face, pull her hair, call her worthless. It was not just one abuser, it was two. Mother and son team destroying my sister piece by piece. Last night was the worst, Jessica told me. Derek came home drunk. He had lost money gambling again, a lot of money, and he was furious. He started yelling at Jessica the second he walked in the door, blaming her for his problems, calling her terrible names. She tried to stay quiet, tried to just let him yell until he calmed down, but that did not work. He grabbed her by the throat and started choking her. She could not breathe. She thought she was going to die, then he threw her across the room. She hit the wall and fell to the floor, and then he started kicking her. In the ribs, in the back, in the stomach, over and over. Linda just stood there watching, did not try to stop him, did not call for help, just watched her son beat his wife half to death. Jessica said she does not remember much after that. She thinks she passed out from the pain. When she woke up, she was alone. Derek and Linda had gone to bed, left her lying on the floor bleeding and broken. She managed to get up, managed to grab her keys and her phone, and she drove to my apartment, 2 hours with broken ribs and a concussion. She drove 2 hours to get to me because she had nowhere else to go. I sat there listening to all of this and I felt something inside me break. Not break. Explode, a rage so pure and hot I could barely breathe. This was my sister, my twin, the other half of my soul, and someone had been torturing her for 2 years. I looked at Jessica and I made her a promise right then and there. You are not going back there, I said, not ever, but Jasmine, I have to, she said. If I do not go back, he will come looking for me, he will find me, and he will kill me. No, he will not, I said, because you are going to stay here, and I am going to go back in your place. She looked at me like I was crazy. What are you talking about? We are going to switch places, I told her. You and me. We are identical. No one can tell us apart. You are going to stay here in my apartment where you are safe, and I am going to go be you for a few days. I am going to walk into that house and I am going to make Derek regret every single thing he has ever done to you. Jasmine, no, Jessica said, you do not understand. He is dangerous. He will hurt you. I smiled. And it was not a nice smile. It was the smile I give people right before I destroy them with the truth. Let him try, I said. You see, I am not Jessica. I look like her. I sound like her, but I am very different. Jessica is kind and gentle and soft. She became a teacher because she loves children. She has never hurt anyone in her life. Me, I am a journalist who has spent 10 years digging up dirt on dangerous people. I have interviewed mobsters and drug dealers and corrupt politicians. I have been threatened and followed and harassed, and I have learned how to protect myself. I have taken self-defense classes for 5 years, Krav Maga, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing. I know how to fight. More importantly, I know how to win. So when I walked into that house the next day, I was not scared. I was ready. I was a weapon aimed directly at Derek and his mother, and they had no idea what was coming for them. Have you ever pretended to be someone else to protect them? What happened? Jasmine just caught Derek's first punch on camera, but she's not stopping there. Drops tomorrow, and trust me, what she discovers next will make your jaw drop. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Comment justice if you're rooting for Jasmine. The next morning I woke up early and got ready to become my sister. Jessica was still asleep on my couch wrapped in blankets. I looked at her bruised face and felt that anger come rushing back. Today was the day. Today I was going to walk into that house and start making Derek pay for what he did. I took a shower and then I went through Jessica's bag. She had brought some of her clothes with her when she escaped. I put on one of her dresses, a plain blue dress that went down to my knees. The kind of dress that screams, I am trying not to be noticed. I put on her shoes, her watch, her wedding ring. That ring felt heavy on my finger, like it was made of lead instead of gold. I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw Jessica staring back at me. Perfect. I woke her up gently and told her the plan. Stay here, do not answer the door for anyone except me. Order food delivery if you get hungry. Rest, heal, let me handle everything. She grabbed my hand and squeezed it. Be careful, she whispered. He is worse than you think, I know, I said, but so am I. I took her car keys and her house keys and her phone, everything I needed to be her. Then I walked out of my apartment and got into her car. A boring gray sedan that blended into traffic perfectly. I drove for 2 hours back to the town where Jessica lived. back to the house she shared with her monster of a husband. The whole drive I went over the plan in my head. Step 1, get inside without raising suspicion. Step 2, install hidden cameras and recording devices. Step 3, gather evidence of abuse. Step 4, destroy Derek's life piece by piece. Simple, or at least it should be. I pulled up to the house around 10 in the morning. From the outside it looked normal. A nice house in a quiet neighborhood, 2-story, a garage, a small front yard with flowers. The kind of house you see in commercials for laundry detergent. The kind of house where happy families live. But I knew the truth. This house was a prison, and my sister had been trapped inside it for 2 years. I took a deep breath and got out of the car. I walked up to the front door and used Jessica's key to unlock it. The second I stepped inside, I felt it. The atmosphere. It was heavy, oppressive, like the air itself was poisoned. The house was quiet, but I could hear someone moving around upstairs. I closed the door behind me and looked around. Everything was too clean, too perfect, like a museum instead of a home. No pictures on the walls, no personal items anywhere, just bland furniture and empty spaces. I walked into the kitchen, and that is when I heard her. Linda, Derek's mother. Her voice came from the living room, sharp and annoyed. Jessica, is that you? Where have you been? I took another deep breath and channeled my sister, made my voice softer, made my shoulders hunch forward, made myself smaller. Yes, it is me, I called back. I went for a drive. I needed some air. Linda appeared in the kitchen doorway. She was exactly what I expected. A woman in her late 50s with badly dyed blonde hair and a permanent scowl on her face. She was wearing a bathrobe even though it was 10 in the morning. She looked me up and down with disgust. A drive? You just left without telling anyone? Derek was worried sick. He had to go to work not knowing where his wife was. How selfish can you be? I bit my tongue hard. I wanted to tell this woman exactly what I thought of her. But I could not yet. I had to play the part. I am sorry, I said quietly. I should have left a note. You are damn right you should have, Linda snapped. Now make me some coffee and toast, and do not burn it like you did yesterday. I walked over to the coffee maker and started making her coffee. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage. This woman had watched her son beat my sister and done nothing. No, she had joined in, she had participated. And now she was sitting in my sister's house ordering her around like a servant. I made the coffee and the toast and brought it to her. She did not say thank you, just waved her hand at me like I was a waitress. Then she turned on the television and ignored me completely. I went upstairs to Jessica's bedroom, the bedroom she shared with Derek. It was just as depressing as the rest of the house. A bed, a dresser, a closet, nothing personal, nothing that said Jessica lived here. I opened the closet and looked at our clothes. All of them were plain, boring. The kind of clothes someone wears when they are trying to disappear. I started my real work. I had brought a bag with me. Inside were 5 small hidden cameras, the kind journalists use for undercover investigation. They look like normal objects: a pen, a phone charger, a clock. I placed one camera on the dresser aimed at the bed. I placed another one on the bookshelf aimed at the door. I hid one in the bathroom. One in the living room inside a picture frame, one in the kitchen inside a fake plant I had brought with me. All of them were recording, all of them had audio. Everything that happened in this house from now on would be documented. Evidence. I was building a case. Around 1 in the afternoon, I heard the garage door open. My whole body tensed. Derek was home. He worked as a corporate manager at some big company. The kind of job where you wear a suit and sit in meetings and pretend to be important. I heard his footsteps coming through the house. Heavy, loud, making sure everyone knew he was there. I stayed in the bedroom waiting. The door opened and there he was. Derek Thompson, 32 years old, tall, good-looking in that generic way. Dark hair, white teeth. Expensive suit. He looked like someone you would see in a commercial for luxury cars. Clean, successful, trustworthy, but I knew what he really was, a monster in a nice suit. Jessica, he said. His voice was cold. Where were you this morning? Linda said you left without telling anyone. I stood up and kept my eyes down like Jessica would. I am sorry, I just needed to clear my head. I went for a drive. Clear your head. He walked closer to me. From what? From your responsibilities, from being a wife. He was right in front of me now. I could smell his cologne. Expensive. The kind that probably costs more than Jessica makes in a week teaching. You do not just leave without telling me where you are going. Do you understand? Yes, I said quietly. I understand. Good. He grabbed my chin and forced me to look at him. Because I would hate for last night to happen again. You remember last night, do you not? Oh, I remembered. I remembered every single thing Jessica told me, every kick, every punch, every moment of terror. But I could not react, not yet. I had to play this right. I had to make him think I was still Jessica. Scared, broken, under his control. I am sorry, I whispered. It will not happen again. It better not. He let go of my chin and walked past me to the closet. He started changing out of his work clothes. I need dinner ready by 6. Something good. Not the garbage you made last time, and the house needs to be cleaned. I do not know what you did all day, but this place is a mess. I looked around. The house was spotless. There was not a mess anywhere, but I did not argue. Yes, Derek, I said, I will have dinner ready. He finished changing and walked out without another word. I heard him go downstairs, heard him talking to his mother, heard them both laughing about something, probably about me, about Jessica, about the woman they both enjoyed torturing. I sat down on the bed and took a few deep breaths. This was harder than I thought it would be, not because I was scared, but because it took everything in me not to fight back right then and there. Not to tell Derek exactly who I was and what I was going to do to him, but I had to be patient. I had to be smart. Revenge is not about acting on emotion. It is about planning, strategy, making sure when you strike hard enough that your enemy never gets back up. I went downstairs and started making dinner. Linda was still in the living room watching television and barking orders at me. The volume is too low. Bring me a snack, get me a blanket. I did everything she asked with a smile on my face, a fake smile, but she did not notice. Derek came into the kitchen while I was cooking. He stood behind me watching. I could feel his eyes on me, judging, waiting for me to make a mistake so he would have an excuse to hurt me. I did not give him one. I cooked perfectly, set the table perfectly, served the food perfectly. We all sat down to eat, Derek at the head of the table like a king, Linda to his right, me across from her. The whole meal was silent except for Linda complaining. The chicken is dry, the vegetables are overcooked, the tea is too sweet. Derek agreed with everything she said. Yeah, Jessica, this is not good. You really need to learn how to cook properly. I apologized over and over. I am sorry. I will do better next time, I promise. They both looked at me with satisfaction. This is what they wanted: submission, fear, control, and I was giving it to them for now. After dinner, I cleaned up while they watched television. I washed dishes, wiped down counters, swept the floor, all the while I was thinking about my plan, about all the ways I was going to make them pay. When the kitchen was clean, I went upstairs. I needed to check the cameras. Make sure I were recording properly. I pulled out my phone and opened the app that connected to all 5 cameras. They were all working perfectly. Clear video, clear audio, everything was being saved to a cloud storage that only I could access. Evidence, beautiful evidence. That night, Derek came to bed around 11. I pretended to be asleep. I felt him get into bed next to me, felt him move closer, and then I felt his hand on my arm, rough, possessive, like I was his property. Tomorrow you are going to do better, he said quietly. You are going to be a better wife, because if you are not, I am going to remind you what happens when you disappoint me. You understand? I did not move, did not respond, just kept pretending to be asleep. He squeezed my arm harder, hard enough to hurt, hard enough to leave a bruise. I said, do you understand? Yes, I whispered, I understand. Good. He let go of me and rolled over. Within minutes he was snoring. I lay there in the dark staring at the ceiling. Day 1 was done. I had made it through without blowing my cover. But this was just the beginning. Tomorrow I would start pushing back. Tomorrow I would start showing Derek that his wife was not afraid anymore. And he was going to be very confused about what had changed. This was going to be fun. I woke up the next morning to Derek shaking my shoulder. Hard. Get up, he said. His voice was already annoyed and the sun was barely up. I need breakfast before I leave for work, and it better be good this time. I opened my eyes and looked at him. He was already dressed in another expensive suit, already acting like he owned the world. I sat up slowly and nodded. Okay, I will make it now. I got out of bed and went downstairs to the kitchen. Linda was already awake, sitting at the table like she was waiting to be served. She did not say good morning, did not acknowledge me at all, just sat there with her arms crossed looking impatient. I started making breakfast. Eggs, bacon, toast, coffee. The whole time I was thinking about the cameras recording everything, every word, every look, every moment of their cruelty. Derek came downstairs and sat at the table next to his mother. They started talking about their plans for the day, completely ignoring me like I was furniture. I brought them their plates and their coffee. Derek took one bite of the eggs and made a face. These are cold, he said. I just made them, I said quietly. Well, they are cold now, make them again. I took his plate back to the stove, cracked more eggs, made them again, brought them back. He took another bite. Better, he said, but barely. You really are useless in the kitchen, you know that? Linda laughed. I have been telling you that for months, Derek. This girl cannot cook to save her life. Maybe you should have married someone who actually knows how to take care of a man. Derek smirked. Yeah, maybe I should have. I stood there taking it, absorbing every insult, every cruel word. But inside I was cataloging everything, mental notes. This conversation was being recorded. Their words were being captured. Evidence of emotional abuse. Evidence of belittling. Evidence of a pattern. Derek finished his breakfast and stood up. I have a meeting at 9. I will be home around 6. Dinner better be ready. And this house better be clean. If I come home and it is not, there will be consequences. Do you understand? Yes, I said, I understand. He walked past me without another word. I heard the garage door open, heard his car start, heard him drive away, and then it was just me and Linda. She sat there for another 20 minutes making me wait on her. More coffee, more toast, a glass of water, then a napkin, then another napkin because the first one had a spot on it. Finally, she went upstairs to her room. The second she was gone, I pulled out my phone. I checked the cameras. Everything had been recorded. The breakfast conversation, Derek's threats, Linda's insults, perfect, but I needed more. I needed evidence of physical abuse. I needed proof of what Derek was really capable of, and I had a feeling I would not have to wait long. Men like Derek, they cannot control their anger for long. They need to lash out. They need to hurt someone to feel powerful. It was only a matter of time before he tried to hurt me, and when he did, I would be ready. I spent the morning cleaning the house even though it did not need cleaning. But I had to play the part. I had to be Jessica. While I cleaned, I explored. I went through drawers, looked through papers. I found Jessica's bank statements hidden in a desk drawer. I looked through them and my blood started boiling. Derek had been stealing from her. Jessica made about $40,000 a year as a teacher. Not a lot, but enough to live on, except almost all of it was gone. Every month money was being transferred out of her account into an account I did not recognize. Thousands of dollars, sometimes $5,000, sometimes $8,000. I added it all up. Over the past 2 years, Derek had stolen more than $60,000 from my sister. $60,000 that she had earned teaching kids, money that was supposed to be hers, and he had taken it. I kept digging. I found credit card statement, charges for hotels, expensive restaurant, jewelry stores. None of these things were for Jessica. She did not own expensive jewelry. She did not eat at fancy restaurant. These were for someone else. I took pictures of everything with my phone, evident. I kept searching. In the back of Derek's closet I found a shoebox. Inside were receipts. Hotel receipts from the past 6 months, all of them from the same hotel downtown. All of them charged to a credit card in Jessica's name. A credit card she probably did not even know existed. And tucked in between the receipts was a photo. A photo of Derek with another woman. She was young, maybe 25, blonde, pretty. They were at a restaurant. His arm was around her. They were both smiling. On the back of the photo, someone had written, "Love you, baby," with a heart. So that was it. Derek was not just abusing my sister, he was cheating on her. And he was using her money to do it. I took pictures of everything, the receipts, the credit card statements, the photo. Then I put everything back exactly where I found it. Derek could not know I had been snooping, not yet. I went back downstairs and continued playing the role of obedient wife. Linda came down around noon and demanded lunch. I made her a sandwich. She complained that the bread was too dry. I made her another one. She complained that this one had too much mayonnaise. I made her a third sandwich. She ate half of it and threw the rest in the trash. Then she went back upstairs. I was alone again. I pulled out my phone and called Jessica using a secure app that could not be traced. She answered on the first ring. "Jasmine, are you okay? Did he hurt you?" "I am fine," I said. "He has not touched me yet, but just I found some things, bad things." "What kind of things?" "He is stealing from you. I found bank statements. He has been transferring money out of your account for 2 years. "How much?" I hesitated. "More than $60,000. I heard her gasp. $60,000, oh my God, that is everything I saved. That is everything I have. "I know," I said, "but that is not all. He is cheating on you. I found hotel receipts and a photo of him with another woman. He is using your money to take her on dates." Jessica was quiet for a long moment, then she said something that broke my heart. "I am not surprised. I think I knew, I think I have known for a while, but I was too scared to confront him about it." "You do not have to be scared anymore," I told her. "I am gathering evidence. Everything he has done to you, the abuse, the theft, the cheating, all of it, and when I have enough I am going to bury him." "How?" "He's going to come after you, Jasmine. When he finds out what you are doing, he's going to hurt you." "Let him try," I said. "I am not you, Jess. I am not going to just take it. If he puts his hands on me, I am going to make sure he regrets it. And I am going to make sure it is all on camera." She was quiet again, then she said, "Be careful, please." "I promise," I said. "I will call you tomorrow." I hung up and put my phone away, then I went back to cleaning. Derek came home at 6 exactly. He walked in the door and immediately started looking around, checking to see if the house was clean, checking to see if I had done what he told me to do. He walked through the living room, the kitchen, upstairs to the bedroom, then he came back down. I was standing in the kitchen waiting. "The house looks acceptable," he said, like that was a compliment. "Where is dinner?" "On the stove," I said. "I made your favorite, pot roast." He walked over and lifted the lid. He looked at the food, smelled it. Then he looked at me. "This better be good," he said, "or else." He sat down at the table. Linda came down and sat next to him. I served them both. They ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Derek spoke. "This is actually not bad," he said. "See, you can cook when you try. Maybe you should try harder more often." "Yes, Derek," I said quietly. After dinner I cleaned up again. Derek and Linda went to watch television. Around 9 Derek came into the kitchen where I was wiping down the counters. He walked up behind me, close, too close. I could feel his breath on my neck. "You have been different the last couple days," he said. His voice was low, suspicious. "I do not know what it is, but something is different." I froze. My heart started pounding. Did he know? Had I made a mistake? "I do not know what you mean," I said. "I am the same as always." "No," he said, "you are not. You are quieter, more obedient, like you finally learned your lesson." He put his hand on my shoulder, squeezed it. "Hard. Maybe last week's reminder worked. Maybe you finally understand your place." I wanted to spin around and break his hand. I wanted to tell him exactly who I was and watch his face when he realized he had been played. But I could not yet. I needed more evidence. I needed him to hit me on camera. I needed proof that would hold up in court, so I just stood there and let him touch me. Let him think he had won. "Yes," I said, "I understand." "Good," he said, "keep it up." He walked away. I stood there shaking, not from fear, from rage. from the effort it took not to fight back, but soon, very soon, I would not have to hold back anymore. That night I lay in bed next to Derek waiting for him to fall asleep. When his breathing got deep and steady, I got up quietly. I went to the bathroom and locked the door. I pulled out my phone and reviewed all the footage from the cameras. I had hours of recordings now, threats, insults, evidence of financial abuse, but I still did not have what I needed most. Video of him hitting me, video of him being violent. That was the key. That was what would destroy him completely. And I knew it was coming. Men like Derek, they cannot help themselves. They always escalate. They always go too far. I just had to wait, and I was very good at waiting. Day 3 started differently. I woke up before Derek and I made a decision. Today I was going to push back just a little, just enough to trigger him, just enough to make him show his true colors on camera. I got dressed and went downstairs, made breakfast like usual. But this time when Derek came down and sat at the table, I did not serve him right away. I finished my coffee first, took my time. He looked at me with confusion. "Jessica, where's my breakfast?" I looked at him calmly. "I am making it now." "Well, hurry up. I have to leave in 20 minutes. I did not hurry. I moved at my own pace, cracked the eggs slowly, cooked the bacon on medium heat instead of high, made him wait. I could see his jaw clenching, his hands gripping the edge of the table. He was not used to this. Jessica never made him wait. Jessica jumped the second he demanded something. I finally brought him his plate. He looked at it and then looked at me. "This toast is burnt," he said. "No, it is not," I said. "It is just dark. I like it that way. I do not care what you like. Make it again." No, the word came out of my mouth so simply, so calmly, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Derek stared at me like I had just spoken a foreign language. "What did you just say to me?" I said. "No, the toast is fine. If you do not like it, you can make your own." The room went completely silent. Even Linda, who had just walked in, stopped in the doorway. Her mouth actually fell open. Derek stood up slowly. His chair scraped against the floor. He walked around the table toward me. I stayed exactly where I was, feet planted, shoulders back, ready. "What did you just say to me?" he repeated. His voice was low and dangerous. I said, "If you do not like the toast, you can make your own. I am not your servant, Derek." His face turned red. "You are my wife. You do what I tell you to do." "Actually," I said, "I am a person, and I am tired of being treated like I am not." "Where is this coming from?" Linda demanded. She walked into the kitchen and stood next to her son. "Jessica, you need to remember who you are talking to. This is my son. This is your husband. You show him respect." I turned to look at her. "Respect is earned, Linda, and neither of you have earned anything from me except contempt." Derek moved faster than I expected. He grabbed my arm and squeezed, hard. His fingers dug into the same spot he had grabbed the night before. "You better watch your mouth," he said through clenched teeth. "Or what?" I looked him straight in the eyes. "What are you going to do, Derek? Hit me? We both know that is what you do best." His eyes widened, then narrowed. I could see him calculating, trying to figure out what had changed, trying to understand why his wife was suddenly not afraid of him. "Let go of me," I said quietly, "or I will make you let go." He laughed. "You will make me, you." He squeezed harder. I let him. I needed this on camera. I needed him to be the aggressor. But I also needed him to know that things had changed. So I did something Jessica would never do. I grabbed his wrist with my free hand, found the pressure point, and pressed hard. Derek's face went from smug to shocked to pained in about 2 seconds. He let go of my arm immediately. "What the hell?" he said, stepping back. "Who taught you that?" "I have been taking self-defense classes," I said calmly. "I decided I am tired of being afraid, tired of being pushed around, tired of being hurt, so I learned how to fight back. And if you ever put your hands on me again, I will use everything I learned. Do you understand?" Derek looked at his mother, then back at me. "You are crazy," he said. "You have lost your mind." Maybe I said, or maybe I finally found it. Either way, things are going to be different around here. "You do not give me orders, you do not tell me what to do, and you certainly do not put your hands on me." Derek's face was purple. "No. He was so angry he was shaking. "We will see about that," he said. "We will see how tough you are when I get home tonight." Then he grabbed his keys and stormed out. The garage door slammed. His car peeled out of the driveway. Linda stood there staring at me. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life," she said. "When Derek comes home tonight, he's going to teach you a lesson you will never forget, and I'm going to watch." I smiled at her. "Bring it on, Linda. I am done being scared of both of you." She opened her mouth to say something else, but I walked past her and went upstairs. I could hear her muttering to herself in the kitchen, calling me crazy, saying I had lost my mind. Good, let her think that. Let them both think that. The more off balance they were, the easier this would be. I went into the bedroom and checked the cameras on my phone. Everything had been recorded. Derek grabbing my arm, me standing up to him, his threats, Linda's threats, perfect. But the real confrontation was coming tonight, and I needed to be ready. I spent the rest of the day preparing. I did some light stretching, some shadowboxing, practicing moves I had learned in my self-defense classes, pressure points, joint locks, how to use someone's weight against them. I was not planning to seriously hurt Derek. That would be assault. I could not give him any ammunition to use against me legally. But I was absolutely planning to defend myself, and I was planning to make sure every second of it was caught on camera. Around noon I called Jessica again. "How are you feeling?" I asked her. She sounded tired, my ribs still hurt, my eye is still swollen, but I am okay. How are things there? I told her about the confrontation at breakfast. I told her about Derek's threats. She was quiet for a long moment. Jasmine, you need to be careful. When Derek gets angry, he does not think straight. He just attacks. He does not care who sees. He does not care about consequences. I know, I said. That is what I am counting on. What do you mean? I need him to attack me, Jess. I need him to hit me on camera. That is the evidence that will put him away. That is what will make sure he never hurts you again. But what if he really hurts you? What if you cannot defend yourself? I can defend myself, I said. Trust me, I am not you. I am sorry. I did not mean it like that. I know, I said. I am just saying I am prepared for this. I have been preparing for this my whole career. I have dealt with dangerous people before. Derek is just another bully who thinks he is tough because he can beat up someone smaller than him, but he has never faced someone who can fight back, and that is going to be his downfall. Around 5:30 I started making dinner, something simple, spaghetti and meatballs. I made enough for 3 people even though I had no intention of eating with them. I set the table, put out plates and silverware, then I went upstairs and changed my clothes. I put on a tank top, something that would show my arm, show the bruise Derek had left that morning, more evidence. I heard the garage door open at 6:15. Derek was late, that meant he had probably stopped somewhere to drink. Liquid courage. I heard his footsteps coming through the house, heavy, angry. I stayed in the kitchen, waited. He appeared in the doorway and I could tell immediately that he had been drinking. His eyes were red, his tie was loose. He stared at me with pure hatred. So he said, "Are you going to apologize for this morning, or are we going to do this the hard way?" I turned to face him. "I am not apologizing, Derek. I have nothing to apologize for. You disrespected me," he said. His voice was getting louder. "You disrespected me in my own house, in front of my mother. I did not disrespect you. I stood up for myself. There is a difference." He walked toward me. Linda appeared behind him. She had a sick smile on her face, like she was excited about what was about to happen. "This is going to be good," she said. "Teach her, Derek. Show her what happens when she forgets her place." Derek was right in front of me now. I could smell the alcohol on his breath. "Whiskey, cheap whiskey, last chance," he said. "Apologize or else what?" I asked. "You are going to hit me? Go ahead. But I promise you it will be the last time you ever put your hands on anyone." That did it. That pushed him over the edge. His hand came up fast, a slap aimed at my face, but I was ready. I had been ready since the moment I walked into this house. I moved my head to the side. His hand missed by inches. The momentum made him stumble forward. I stepped back. He caught his balance and looked at me with shock. "Did you just dodge me? Try again," I said. "See what happens." He came at me with a closed fist this time, a real punch aimed at my stomach. I sidestepped, grabbed his arm, used his forward momentum against him, a basic judo move, and Derek went flying. He crashed into the kitchen table. Plates and silverware went everywhere. He hit the floor hard. For a second he just lay there stunned. Then he looked up at me and I saw something I had never seen in his eyes before: fear. Linda screamed, "What did you do? What did you do to my son?" I did not move. I just stood there looking down at Derek. "I warned you," I said. "I told you things were different. I told you I was not going to take it anymore. But you did not listen. Men like you never do." Derek got to his feet slowly. He was breathing hard. His suit was dirty. His ego was shattered. "You are going to pay for that," he said. I pulled out my phone because I have been recording everything, every threat, every insult, every time you put your hands on me. It is all on camera, Derek. Hours and hours of footage, evidence of domestic violence, evidence of abuse, evidence that will send you to prison. His face went white. "You are blowing." I showed him my phone screen. The camera app, 5 cameras, all recording, all saving to cloud storage, all admissible in court. "You have been set up, Derek, and you fell for it. You stupid, arrogant, pathetic little man. You actually thought you could keep hurting your wife and get away with it, but you were wrong, so very wrong." Derek stared at my phone screen like it was a weapon pointed at his head. "You are lying," he said, but his voice shook. "There are no cameras." I walked over to the bookshelf and picked up the picture frame. I turned it around and showed him the tiny lens hidden in the back. "Here is one." Then I pointed to the fake plant on the counter. "There is another. And there is one in the bedroom, one in the living room, one in the bathroom. Every room in this house has been under surveillance for 3 days. Every word you said, every threat you made, every time you touched me, all recorded, all saved, all ready to be turned over to the police." His face went from white to red. "You crazy bitch," he screamed. He lunged at me, but I was ready. I sidestepped again. This time I stuck my foot out. He tripped and went crashing into the counter. Linda ran at me from the side. She tried to grab my hair. I caught her wrist and twisted, not hard enough to break anything, just hard enough to make her let go and back away. She stumbled backward, holding her wrist. "You broke my wrist," she screamed. "I did not break anything," I said calmly, "but I could have." Derek was getting up again. His nose was bleeding from hitting the counter. He looked like a wild animal, cornered, dangerous. "I am going to kill you," he said. "And there it is," I said, "a death threat on camera, with audio. Do you understand how much trouble you are in right now, Derek? Do you have any idea how many laws you have broken? Assault, battery, domestic violence, financial abuse. Oh yes, I found the bank statements. I know you have been stealing from your wife. $60,000 over 2 years. That is a felony, Derek. That is prison time. He stopped moving, just stood there bleeding and breathing hard. You cannot prove anything, he said, but his voice had no confidence in it anymore. Yes, I can, I said. I have bank records, credit card statement, hotel receipts. I even found the photo of you with your girlfriend. What is her name? Brittany. Ashley. Does she know you are married? Does she know you are using your wife's money to take her on dates? Linda made a sound like she had been punched. What girlfriend? What is she talking about, Derek? Shut up, Mom, Derek said. Oh, he did not tell you. I smiled. Your son has been cheating on his wife for at least 6 months, maybe longer. I found receipts for hotels downtown, all charged to a credit card in Jessica's name. A credit card she probably does not even know about. You are lying, Linda said. My son would never cheat. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my photos. Found the picture I had taken of Derek with the blonde woman. I held it up so Linda could see. This was in his closet, hidden in a shoebox with all his receipts. Linda looked at the photo, then at Derek, then back at the photo. Her face crumbled. Derek, how could you do this to your wife, to your family? I do not owe anyone an explanation, Derek said, especially not you, Mom, and definitely not her. He pointed at me. She's not even Jessica, is she? I felt my heart skip a beat. What, who else would I be? You are too confident, Derek said, too strong. Jessica would never fight back like this. Jessica would never have the guts to install cameras or threaten me with police. So who are you? I kept my face neutral. I'm your wife, the wife you have been beating for 2 years. The wife you have been stealing from, the wife you have been cheating on, that is who I am. No, Derek said. He walked closer, studying my face. You look exactly like her, you sound exactly like her, but you are not her. I can feel it. You are someone else. And then I saw it in his eyes, the moment of realization. Oh my God, he said, you are the twin, you are the sister. I did not deny it. There was no point. He had figured it out. Yes, I said, I'm Jasmine, Jessica's twin sister, the one you tried to isolate her from, the one you did not want her talking to because you knew I would see through your lies. Where is Jessica? Derek demanded. Safe, I said. Somewhere you will never find her. Somewhere you will never hurt her again. You tricked me, Derek said. He was getting angrier again. You came into my house under false pretenses. You lied about who you are. That is fraud. That is illegal. Actually, it is not, I said. Jessica gave me permission to be here. This is her house. Her name is on the deed. She invited me in, so I have every legal right to be here. And everything I recorded is admissible in court because it was recorded with the homeowner's permission in her own home. You have no case, Derek, but I have a mountain of evidence against you. I walked over to the counter and picked up a folder I had prepared earlier. Inside were copies of everything: bank statements, credit card bills, photos of Jessica's injuries, medical records from when she went to the emergency room claiming she fell down the stairs, screenshots of threatening texts Derek had sent her, all of it organized, all of it documented, all of it ready to be filed with the police. This is a copy, I said. The originals are already with my lawyer. And tomorrow morning I am taking all of this to the police station. I am filing charges on behalf of my sister: domestic violence, felony assault, financial abuse, identity theft, and based on the threats you made today I am also filing for attempted assault with intent to cause bodily harm. You are looking at serious prison time, Derek. Years, and when you get out you will have a criminal record. You will lose your job, you will lose your reputation, you will lose everything. Derek's hands were shaking. You cannot do this. I have rights. You absolutely have rights, I said. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to a trial. And you will lose that trial because the evidence against you is overwhelming. Or I said we can do this a different way. What different way? There was desperation in his voice now. You sign divorce paper. You give Jessica full custody of all marital assets, the house, the car, the bank accounts. What is left of them anyway? You pay her back the $60,000 you stole in monthly installments, $3,000 a month for the next 20 months, and you agree to a permanent restraining order, 500 feet at all times, no contact, no communication, nothing. You are never allowed near my sister again, and if you agree to all of that I do not press criminal charges. The evidence stays with me. You get to keep your freedom and your job, but you lose Jessica. Forever. Derek looked at Linda. Mom, what do I do? Do not look at her, I said. She cannot help you. This is between you and me, and you have exactly 10 seconds to decide. Prison or divorce. Which is it going to be? I do not have $3,000 a month, Derek said. Yes, you do, I said. You make $80,000 a year. You can afford $3,000 a month. You will just have to stop gambling. Stop going to expensive hotels with your girlfriend. Stop living beyond your means. And you will have to get a second job. I do not care how you get the money, but you will pay my sister back every single dollar you stole from her. Time is up, Derek. What is your answer? He looked at me with pure hatred, but he was beaten and he knew it. Fine, he said. I will sign the papers. I will pay her back. Just do not call the police. Smart choice, I said. I pulled out another folder. Inside were divorce papers I had already prepared. I had filled them out days ago, just needed his signature. Sign here, I said, and here, an initial here. Derek took the pen with a shaking hand. He looked at the papers, looked at me, then he signed every page, every line, every initial. When he was done I took the papers and put them back in the folder. I also need you to sign a confession, I said. What? A written confession admitting to the abuse. Admitting to the theft, admitting to everything. That way if you ever violate the restraining order or stop making payments I can use it against you in court. I am not signing that. Then I call the police right now. I pulled out my phone. Your choice, Derek, confession or prison. He grabbed the pen and signed the confession. His hand was shaking so hard he could barely write, but he signed it. Good, I said, now get out. What? Get out of this house. It belongs to Jessica, not you. Pack a bag and leave. Tonight you have 1 hour. But where am I supposed to go? That is not my problem, I said. Go stay with your girlfriend. Go stay in a hotel. Go sleep in your car. I do not care, but you are not staying here. This is my house, Derek said weakly. No, I said, this is Jessica's house. Her name is on the deed. Yours is not. You have been living guest, and now that guest privilege is revoked. You have 59 minutes. He looked at his mother. Linda was crying now. She looked small and pathetic. This is not fair, she said. Life is not fair, Linda, I said. You stood by and watched your son beat his wife. You participated in the abuse. You called her name. You treated her like a slave, and you did nothing to stop him, nothing. So no, I do not feel sorry for you, and you are leaving too. You have 1 hour to pack your things and get out. This is not over, Derek said. I will fight this. I will get a lawyer. Go ahead, I said. Get the best lawyer money can buy. It will not matter. The evidence is too strong. You will lose. And when you lose, you will have wasted thousands of dollars on legal fees on top of everything else. Or you can accept reality. You lost, Derek. You thought you could keep hurting a defenseless woman and get away with it. But you were wrong. She was not defenseless. She had me. Derek and Linda went upstairs. I could hear them moving around, opening drawers, throwing things into bags. I stood in the kitchen and called Jessica. It is done, I told her. He signed the papers. He admitted to everything. He is leaving right now. Oh my God, Jessica said. She sounded like she could not believe it. Is it really over? It is really over, I said. You are free, Jess. You are finally free. She started crying. Thank you so much. I could never have done this without you. Yes, you could have, I said. You are stronger than you think. You just needed someone to remind you. 30 minutes later, Derek and Linda came downstairs. Each of them had a suitcase. Derek would not look at me. He just walked to the door. Linda stopped and turned around. You are evil, she said. You destroyed my family. Your son destroyed your family, I said. I just made sure there were consequences. They walked out. I heard their car start, heard them drive away. And then the house was silent. Completely silent. I stood there for a long moment just breathing, then I smiled. Phase 1 was complete, but I was not done yet, not even close. Derek thought he was going to get away with just signing some papers and making payments. He thought he could move on with his life. He was wrong. I was going to make sure everyone knew what kind of man he was. I was going to destroy his reputation, his career, his future. He was going to pay for every bruise he gave my sister. And he was going to pay in ways he could not even imagine yet. The next morning I woke up in Jessica's house for the last time. The house felt different now. Lighter, like something heavy and dark had been lifted. I got up and made coffee. Real coffee, not the cheap stuff Derek liked. I sat at the kitchen table and made a list of everything I needed to do. First I called Jessica. Come home, I told her. It is safe now. He is gone. Are you sure? She asked. I am sure. I have the signed divorce papers. I have his written confession. I have a restraining order being filed today. He cannot come near you. He cannot contact you. He is out of your life forever. She was quiet for a moment, then she said, when can I come back? Today, right now. Come home, Jess. I will be there in 2 hours, she said. Good, I will be here waiting. I spent those 2 hours cleaning, not because the house was dirty, but because I wanted to erase every trace of Derek and his mother. I changed the sheets on the bed, threw away Derek's leftover toiletries, took down the pictures of him that were on the walls, packed up his remaining clothes that he had left behind. Everything went into boxes. Everything got put in the garage. He could come get it later or not. I did not care. When Jessica arrived, she stood in the doorway for a long moment, just looking at her house, her home, like she could not believe it was really hers again. I walked over and hugged her. Welcome home, I said. She started crying. I am really free. You are really free. She walked through every room, touching things, looking at things like she was seeing her home for the first time. He is really gone, she kept asking. He is really gone, I kept answering. We sat down at the kitchen table and I showed her everything. The signed divorce papers, the confession, the bank statements showing how much he stole, the evidence of his affair. She looked at it all with this strange expression on her face, not quite sad, not quite angry, something in between. I wasted 4 years of my life on him, she said. No, I said, you did not waste anything. You survived. That is not nothing. That takes strength. I just wish I had seen it sooner, seen who he really was. He was good at hiding it, I said. Men like Derek are always good at hiding it. They are like actors. They know exactly what face to show the world, but now everyone is going to see his real face. What do you mean? I pulled out my laptop and opened it. I had been working on something all morning, a report, a detailed investigative report about Derek Thompson, his abuse, his theft, his affair, everything documented, everything verified, everything ready to be published. I am a journalist, Jess. This is what I do. I expose people who think they are above the law. I shine a light on things people want to keep hidden, and I am going to make sure everyone knows exactly who Derek Thompson really is. You are going to publish this, not under my name, under yours, if you want, if you are ready. She looked at the screen. Read through what I had written. It was all there, every detail, every piece of evidence. The photos of her bruises, the medical records, the bank statements, the confession, everything. Will this ruin him? She asked. Yes, I said. His employer will see it. His friends will see it. His family will see it. Everyone will know what he did. Good, she said. Publish it. I posted the report on multiple platforms, sent it to Derek's employer, sent it to local news station, sent it to domestic violence organization, sent it everywhere I could think of. Within 2 hours it started spreading. People were sharing it, commenting on it, expressing outrage, expressing support for Jessica, offering help, offering resources. The power of the internet is an amazing thing. Within 6 hours the report had been viewed over 50,000 times. Derek's employer called me. Well, they called the number I had listed in the report. I answered. This is Jasmine Cooper. Is this report accurate? The woman on the phone asked. She sounded like she was from Human Resources. Every word I said. We have copies of bank statements showing Derek Thompson stealing money from his wife. We have medical records showing injuries. We have a signed confession. We have video evidence. Everything in that report is verified and documented. We're going to need to see that evidence, she said. I can send it to you right now, I said. What is your email? She gave it to me. I sent her everything, photos, videos, documents, all of it. She called me back 20 minutes later. Mr. Thompson is being terminated effective immediately, she said. His behavior is completely unacceptable and does not reflect the values of our company. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Thank you for taking it seriously, I said. We have a zero-tolerance policy for domestic violence, she said. We should have known about this sooner. Well, you know now, I said. That is what matters. Derek called Jessica's phone that afternoon. I answered it. What did you do? He screamed. You said you would not go public with this. You said if I signed the papers you would keep it private. I lied, I said. You what? I lied, Derek. I told you what you wanted to hear so you would sign the papers, but I never promised to keep quiet. You destroyed me, he yelled. I just lost my job. My family is not talking to me. People are sending me death threats. My girlfriend broke up with me. My life is over. Good, I said. You destroyed my sister's life for 2 years. You beat her. You stole from her. You made her afraid to exist in her own home. So yes, I destroyed your life, and I do not feel bad about it. Not even a little bit. You are a monster, Derek, and monsters do not get to just walk away and start over. They get exposed. They get punished. They get exactly what they deserve. You are insane, he said. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I am just someone who fights for people who cannot fight for themselves. Either way, you are done. Your reputation is destroyed. Your career is over. And everyone knows what you really are, a coward who hits women. I hope it was worth it, Derek. I hope those 2 years of feeling powerful were worth losing everything. Then I hung up on him. He called back. I blocked his number. He tried calling from different numbers. I blocked those too. He sent emails. I sent them to spam. He was spiraling, panicking, realizing that his life as he knew it was over. Jessica looked at me. Do you think he will come after us, try to hurt us? He might try, I said, but he would be stupid too. I filed a restraining order this morning. If he comes within 500 feet of you, he gets arrested. And I also did something else. What? I called some friends, guys I know from the boxing gym, ex-military. The kind of guys you do not want to mess with. I told them the situation. They are going to be watching this house for the next few weeks. Just in case Derek gets any ideas. You did all of that for me? Of course I did, I said. You are my sister, my twin. I would do anything for you. She hugged me tight. I do not know how to thank you. You do not have to thank me. Just promise me you will never let anyone treat you like that again. Promise me you will remember how strong you are. I promise, she said. Over the next few days things got worse for Derek, much worse. His story went viral. A local news station picked it up. They interviewed Jessica. She told her story on camera, showed her bruises, showed the evidence, told the world what Derek had done. The interview was viewed over 2 million times. People were outraged. Derek started getting recognized in public. People would confront him, call him names, shame him. He had to move out of his apartment because someone spray-painted woman beater on his door. His family disowned him. His mother Linda released a statement saying she was ashamed of her son and apologized to Jessica. Derek tried to fight back. He hired a lawyer, tried to sue me for defamation. But you cannot sue someone for telling the truth. His lawyer dropped him within a week once he saw all the evidence. Derek tried to file a complaint with the police claiming I had broken into his house and illegally recorded him. But the police investigated and found that everything I did was legal. Jessica owned the house. She gave me permission to be there. The recordings were made on her property with her consent. No laws were broken. Derek had no case. He tried to get the restraining order dismissed. The judge denied his request. In fact, the judge extended the restraining order, made it permanent. Derek Thompson was not allowed to be anywhere near Jessica for the rest of his life. And if he violated that order even once, he would go to jail. Derek's life fell apart completely. He could not find a job. No one would hire him. His name was too well known. His reputation was destroyed. He ended up working at a gas station for minimum wage, living in a cheap motel, driving a beat-up car because his nice car got repossessed. Everything he had built. Everything he thought made him important, all of it gone. And the best part, he still had to pay Jessica $3,000 a month, even working at a gas station, even barely surviving. The court enforced the agreement. If he missed a payment, his wages got garnished. If he tried to run, his passport got flagged. There was no escape. He was going to pay back every dollar he stole, whether he liked it or not. Jessica started therapy, started healing, started rebuilding her life. She went back to teaching and her students were so happy to see her. She smiled again, real smiles. She laughed again, real laughs. She started going out with friends, started living. One day about 3 months after everything happened, Jessica and I were having coffee. She looked at me and said, "You know what the crazy thing is? What? I do not hate him anymore. I used to hate him so much, but now I just feel nothing. He is nothing to me. He does not matter. That is growth," I said. "That is healing." "Do you think I will ever be able to trust someone again?" she asked. "To fall in love again?" "Yes," I said. "Not right away. It will take time, but yes, you will learn to trust again. And you will find someone who deserves you, someone who treats you the way you should be treated." "I hope so," she said. "I know so," I said. "And until then you have me. You will always have me. Always." She smiled. "Best sister ever. Best twin ever," I said. We sat there drinking our coffee. Two identical women who could fool anyone, but we were not trying to fool anyone anymore. We were just being ourselves, being free, being alive. And somewhere across town, Derek Thompson was working a double shift at a gas station, trying to scrape together enough money for rent and Jessica's payment, living with the consequences of his actions, living with the knowledge that he had lost everything. And honestly, that felt like justice. That felt like exactly what he deserved. 6 months after I swapped places with my sister, Derek Thompson's life was completely unrecognizable. And I made sure I knew every detail of his downfall because I wanted to see it. I needed to see it. I needed to know that the man who had terrorized my sister for 2 years was finally paying the price. Derek had gone from making $80,000 a year to making minimum wage pumping gas. He had gone from living in a nice house to living in a one-bedroom apartment in the worst part of town. The kind of place with bars on the windows and police sirens every night. He drove a car that was 20 years old and broke down constantly. He wore the same 3 outfits over and over because he could not afford new clothes. Everything he owned fit into 2 suitcases. That was it. That was all that was left of Derek Thompson's life. But it got worse for him, much worse, because word spreads in small community, and everyone in town knew what he had done. The gas station where he worked, customers would come in just to tell him off, just to let him know what they thought of men who beat women. Some people refused to let him pump their gas. They would wait for another employee. Some people would leave without buying anything when they saw him. His manager told him he was bad for business, that he was lucky to even have a job. Derek could not go anywhere without being recognized, could not go to a restaurant without people whispering and pointing, could not go to a bar without someone confronting him. He became a ghost. In his own town, isolated, alone, exactly what he had done to Jessica. His family wanted nothing to do with him. His mother Linda had moved to another state to get away from the shame. His father, who I had never met, refused to speak to him. His sister changed her last name so people would not associate her with him. He had no friends left. Everyone had abandoned him once they found out the truth. The girlfriend he had been cheating with, she did an interview with a local news station, told everyone that Derek had lied to her, told her he was divorced. Told her his ex-wife was crazy and abusive. She said if she had known the truth, she never would have dated him. She said she felt sick knowing she had been part of hurting an innocent woman. That interview went viral too. More millions of views, more millions of people knowing exactly who Derek Thompson was. Derek tried to move to another town, tried to start over somewhere else, but his name followed him. Employers would Google him and find the articles, find the videos, find Jessica's interview, and they would reject his applications. He applied to over 100 jobs in 6 months. Only one place hired him, the gas station, and they only hired him because they were desperate and no one else wanted the job. Every month, like clockwork, Derek had to send Jessica $3,000. And every month he struggled to come up with the money. He worked overtime, picked up extra shifts, sold what little he owned, his watch, his laptop, his TV, anything that had any value. He sold it to make the payment, because if he missed even one payment, the consequences would be severe. Jessica could take him back to court, show the judge the signed agreement, and the judge would garnish his wages. Or worse, enforce the confession he had signed, the one where he admitted to everything, the abuse. The theft, the threats. That confession could still be used against him in criminal court if Jessica decided to press charges. I made sure Derek knew that. I sent him an email from an anonymous account, just a reminder that Jessica still has your confession and she can still file criminal charges anytime she wants. The statute of limitations does not run out for another 5 years, so you better keep making those payments. You better stay far away from her, because if you mess up even once, you will not be working at a gas station anymore. You will be in prison. He never responded, but I knew he read it. I knew he was terrified. Good, he should be terrified. He should spend every single day looking over his shoulder, wondering if today is the day the police show up. That was part of his punishment. The constant fear, the constant anxiety, not knowing if his past was going to come back and destroy what little he had left. Meanwhile, Jessica was thriving. She had paid off her debts with the money Derek was sending her. She had savings again. She had started dating someone new, a good man, a teacher at her school, someone who treated her with respect and kindness, someone who made her laugh, someone who knew her story and did not run away. I vetted him, of course, did a full background check, talked to his ex-girlfriend, talked to his coworkers, made sure he was who he said he was, and he checked out. He was genuinely a good person. The first time Jessica brought him to meet me, I watched him carefully, watched how he treated her, how he spoke to her, how he looked at her, and I could see it. Real love, real care, not the fake performance Derek had put on. This was real. Does he know? I asked Jessica later. About Derek, about everything, he knows everything, she said. I told him on our second date I did not want to hide it, I did not want secrets. And he did not run away, he said he admired my strength. He said surviving abuse does not make me weak, it makes me strong. I liked him immediately. A few months later Jessica called me with news. I am buying Derek out of the house, she said. What? The house is in my name, but technically he has some equity in it from the mortgage payments he made. So I am buying him out, giving him a lump sum so he has no legal claim to the property anymore. How much? $15,000. That is what his share is worth. Are you sure you want to give him that much money? It is not about the money, Jasmine. It is about being completely free. I do not want him to have any legal connection to my life, not the house, not anything. I want to close this chapter completely. I understood, so Jessica paid Derek $15,000 and he signed over any claim to the house. He probably thought he was getting a good deal, getting a chunk of money all at once instead of waiting for monthly payments. But what he did not understand was that this was the final cut, the final severing of any connection between him and Jessica. She was erasing him from her life completely. She changed her last name back to her maiden name, changed all her passwords, changed her phone new. Ember blocked him on every platform. Derek Thompson no longer existed in her world. He was gone, erased, nothing. About a year after everything happened, I got a call from a detective. He said they were investigating Derek for another assault. Apparently Derek had started dating again, and his new girlfriend had filed charges claiming he had hit her. The detective had found all the articles about Derek and Jessica. He wanted to know if Jessica would be willing to testify about her experience, to show a pattern of behavior. I called Jessica and told her. She did not hesitate. Yes, she said, I will testify. I will make sure he does not do this to anyone else. The trial happened 3 months later. Jessica took the stand and told her story, showed the photos of her injury, showed the video evidence, showed the signed confession. The jury heard everything. They heard about the abuse, the theft, the systematic destruction of a woman's life. And then they heard from Derek's new girlfriend. She told a similar story. Derek had been charming at first, then controlling, then violent. She had tried to leave. He had threatened her, hit her, choked her. The same pattern, the exact same pattern. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. When they came back, their verdict was unanimous. Guilty, guilty on all counts: assault, battery, domestic violence, criminal threatening. The judge sentenced Derek to 5 years in prison. 5 years. He stood there in his cheap suit looking small and pathetic. The confident swagger was gone, the arrogance was gone. He was just a broken man who had finally run out of second chances. The judge said something I will never forget. Mr. Thompson, you have shown a clear pattern of targeting vulnerable women and abusing them. You have shown no remorse, no accountability, no willingness to change. You are a danger to society and you need to be removed from it. 5 years in state prison. And when you are released, you will be required to register as a violent offender. You will be on probation for 10 years. You will be required to attend anger management and domestic violence intervention programs. And if you ever lay hands on another woman, you will spend the rest of your life in prison. Do you understand? Derek nodded. He could barely speak. The bailiffs put him in handcuffs and led him away. He looked back once, looked at Jessica sitting in the gallery, and for just a second I saw something in his eyes, not remorse, not regret, just emptiness. Like he had finally realized that his life was over, that he had destroyed everything, and there was no coming back from it. Jessica did not look away. She stared right back at him, strong, unbroken, free. After the trial, we went out to dinner to celebrate. Jessica, her boyfriend, me, a few of her close friends. We laughed, we told stories, we talked about the future, not the past, the future, because that was all that mattered now. Jessica raised her glass. To my sister, she said, the woman who saved my life, who fought for me when I could not fight for myself, who showed me that I was stronger than I ever thought possible. I love you, Jasmine, I love you too, I said. We clinked glasses and drank, and I felt something I had not felt in a long time: peace, real peace, because justice had been served, not just legal justice, real justice. Derek Thompson was in prison where he belonged. He would spend the next 5 years behind bars, no nice suits, no expensive cars, no women to manipulate and hurt, just a cell and time to think about what he had done. And when he got out, he would be a registered violent offender. He would have to tell every employer, every landlord, every potential romantic partner about his past. He would never escape it. It would follow him forever. His name would always be associated with violence, with abuse, with cowardice. That was his legacy. That was what he had built for himself. Jessica, on the other hand, had built something completely different. She had built a life of peace, of happiness, of love. She had gone from victim to survivor to thriver. She had taken the worst experience of her life and turned it into strength, into wisdom, into a mission to help other women. She started volunteering at a domestic violence shelter, started speaking to groups about her experience, started helping other women escape abusive relationships. She turned her pain into purpose. And that was the greatest victory of all. Not just escaping Derek, but becoming someone who helps others escape their Dereks. I was so proud of her, so incredibly proud. My twin sister, my other half, she had been through hell and come out the other side stronger, and I had been there to help her, to fight for her, to make sure the man who hurt her paid the price. Would I do it all again? Absolutely, without question, without hesitation, because some things are worth fighting for. And family is always worth fighting for. Next als part hey interesting krky luakuna plzz. 2. Years have passed since I swapped places with my twin sister. 2 years since I walked into that house and started documenting Derek Thompson's abuse. 2 years since I made the decision that changed both of our lives forever. And I want to tell you what happened to everyone, where they are now, because this story does not end with Derek going to prison. It ends with what came after, the healing, the growth, the real victory. Let me start with Jessica because her transformation has been the most beautiful thing I have ever witnessed. My sister is not the same broken woman who showed up at my apartment covered in bruises. She is strong now, confident, happy, truly happy. She married that teacher I told you about. His name is Marcus. And yes, I know that is the same name as Derek's brother, but this Marcus is nothing like that family. This Marcus is kind, patient, gentle. Everything Derek pretended to be but never was. Their wedding was small, just close friends and family. I was her maid of honor, and when I watched her walk down the aisle I cried, not sad tears, happy tears, because my sister was glowing. She was radiant. She looked like someone who had been given a second chance at life and was not going to waste it. They bought a new house together, not the house she shared with Derek. She sold that house, too many bad memories, too many ghosts. The new house is filled with light, filled with laughter, filled with love. They are talking about having kids. Jessica was always afraid to have children with Derek, afraid of what kind of father he would be, afraid of bringing a child into that environment. But now she is ready to be a mother, ready to build a family with someone who deserves her. She still teaches at the elementary school, still loves her job, but she also does something else now. Once a month she speaks at the local domestic violence shelter. She tells her story to other women who are going through what she went through. Women who are scared, women who think they cannot leave, women who think they have no option, and she shows them that escape is possible, that life after abuse is possible, that happiness is possible. She has helped dozens of women leave their abusers. Help them find resources, find lawyers, find safe places to stay. She has become an advocate, a voice for people who feel like they have no voice, and I am so incredibly proud of her. Last month a woman came up to her after one of her talks. The woman was crying. She said Jessica's story gave her the courage to leave her husband. She said if Jessica could survive and thrive, then maybe she could too. Jessica hugged her, gave her my phone number, told her to call if she needed anything. That woman is safe now, living in a shelter, getting therapy, starting over, and it is because of Jessica. Now let me tell you about Derek. He is still in prison. He has 3 more years left on his sentence. I checked his prison records, public information. Anyone can look it up. He has not been a model prisoner. He has been written up multiple times for fighting, for threatening other inmates, for refusing to participate in the required anger management programs. Every time he gets written up, more time gets added to his sentence. At this rate, he will be in there for 6 or 7 years instead of 5. And when he gets out, he has nothing waiting for him, no family, no friends, no job prospects, no home. He will be released with whatever money is in his prison account, probably a few $100s, and he will have to figure out how to survive as a registered violent offender. Good luck with that, Derek. I hope it was worth it. I hope those 2 years of feeling powerful were worth losing everything. Linda, Derek's mother, is still alive, but she is not doing well. She had a stroke last year, a minor one, but it affected her. She lives in a nursing home now in another state. Alone, her daughter does not visit her. Derek cannot visit her because he is in prison. She spent her whole life enabling her son's violence, protecting him, making excuses for him, and now she's paying the price. Now she knows what it feels like to be abandoned, to be alone, to have no one who cares. I do not feel sorry for her, not even a little bit. She made her choices. Now she lives with them. As for me, my life changed too. That investigation I did on Derek launched my career in a whole new direction. I still work as a journalist, but now I specialize in domestic violence cases. I investigate abusers, I expose them, I help victims build cases against them. I have worked on 15 cases in the past 2 years, 15 women who were being abused. 15 men who thought they could get away with it, and in every single case I helped gather evidence, helped file charges, helped get restraining orders, helped get justice. 3 of those men are now in prison, 5 of them lost custody of their children, all of them lost their reputations, all of them are now known in their communities as abusers, as cowards, as men who hurt women, and I do not feel bad about it, not for 1 second, because they deserve it. Every single one of them deserves to have their lives destroyed the way they destroyed their victims' lives. I have also started teaching self-defense classes specifically for domestic violence survivors. Once a week I go to the local shelter and I teach women how to protect themselves, how to break holds, how to escape chokes, how to use pressure points, how to fight back, not because I think violence is the answer, but because I think women deserve to know they are not helpless, that they have power, that they can defend themselves if they need to. Some of those women have never thrown a punch in their lives, never raised their voice, never stood up for themselves. And watching them learn to fight, watching them discover their own strength, that is the most rewarding thing I have ever done. Jessica and I are closer now than we have ever been. We talk every day, we see each other at least once a week. We do not take our relationship for granted anymore. We do not let life pull us apart, because we learned the hard way what happens when you lose touch with the people you love. You miss things, you miss warning signs, you miss opportunities to help. We promised each other that will never happen again. We will always be there for each other, always, no matter what. I want to talk directly to anyone watching this who might be in a situation like Jessica was. Maybe you are being hurt right now. Maybe you are scared. Maybe you think you cannot leave. Maybe your abuser has convinced you that you are nothing without them, that no one else would want you, that you deserve the abuse, that it is your fault. Let me tell you something. None of that is true. You do not deserve to be hit. You do not deserve to be threatened. You do not deserve to live in fear, and you are not nothing. You are strong. You are valuable. You are worthy of love and respect and safety. I know leaving seems impossible. I know your abuser has probably isolated you from friends and family. I know he probably controls the money. I know he has probably threatened to kill you if you leave. I know he has probably threatened to take your children. I know all of this because it is the same story every time. Abusers follow the same playbook. But here's what they do not want you to know. You can leave, you can escape, and there are people who will help you. Start by reaching out to a domestic violence hotline. The number is 1-800-799-7233. That is 1-800-799-SAFE. They can help you make a safety plan. They can help you find a shelter. They can connect you with lawyers and counselors and resources. You do not have to do this alone. Document everything. Take photos of your injury. Save threatening text messages. Record conversations if it is legal in your state. Email evidence to a trusted friend. Build your case, because when you are ready to leave, you will need proof. You will need evidence to get a restraining order, to get custody of your kids, to press charges. And please understand this. The most dangerous time is right after you leave. That is when abusers escalate. That is when they become most violent. So when you leave, you need to have a plan, a safe place to go, people who know where you are, a way to protect yourself. Do not tell your abuser you are leaving. Do not give him warning. Just go. When he is at work or asleep or out of the house, pack a bag, take your important documents, take your kids if you have them, and leave. Do not look back. Do not let him talk you into coming back. Do not believe his apologies or his promises to change. He will not change. Abusers do not change. They just get better at hiding it. Your life is worth fighting for. Your safety is worth fighting for. Your children's safety is worth fighting for. And you are stronger than you think you are. I have seen women escape situations that seemed impossible. I have seen women who were convinced they were too weak or too broken or too scared. And they did it anyway. They survived. They built new lives. And so can you. To everyone else watching this, if you suspect someone you know is being abused, please say something. Do not ignore the sign. Do not tell yourself it is none of your business. Ask them directly if they are safe. Offer help. Offer resources. Let them know they are not alone. And if you have the power to help like I did, then use it. Use your skills. Use your privilege. Use your resources. Stand up for people who cannot stand up for themselves. Because domestic violence thrives in silence. It thrives when people look the other way, when people make excuses. When people do not want to get involved, we have to stop being silent. We have to start speaking up. We have to start holding abusers accountable. My name is Jasmine Cooper. I am 30 years old. I am a journalist and a domestic violence advocate. 2 years ago, I swapped places with my bruised twin sister, and I made her husband's life a living hell. And I do not regret it, not for 1 second, because some things are worth fighting for. Justice is worth fighting for. Family is worth fighting for. And the safety of innocent people is always worth fighting for. If this story helped you or inspired you, please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Tell me if you have ever survived something like this. Tell me if you know someone who has. Let us build a community. Let us support each other. Let us make sure that abusers like Derek Thompson do not get to keep hurting people. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Stay safe out there, and remember, if you are in danger, there is help available. You are not alone. You are never alone. This is Jasmine Cooper signing off. Peace.